All right, guys. So today's lesson, loose ends. And the single thing that's probably sabotaging your ability to stay asleep. So a lot of what I talk about is like how to fall asleep. But what about staying asleep? So this is, I believe, based on a ton of research I've done over the years, the single killer of your ability to stay asleep. And guess what it is, girls? Multitasking. It's the enemy. For years, we've been taught to boast about being like amazing multitaskers as women, but guess what? It's really like a bad habit and it kills our productivity. And recent studies have shown that multitasking, what it does to your brain, it actually lowers your IQ. In fact, they compared the brain of somebody who is stoned to somebody who is multitasking, and the stoned person scored 8 points higher on like an average IQ test. So that just goes to show you something. Why is that? Because it's actually called switch tasking. So if you are immersed in a task, if you are, reading an email for work that requires your attention, you're in it, you're solving a problem, and your kid disrupts you and asks what's for dinner, your brain actually has to switch from that set of rules, the game that it's focusing on playing, and then switch and say, okay, what's the new set of rules? And in that time where the brain has to switch and figure out the new set of rules, we lose about 28% of our productivity. And if we multiply that out throughout the day, it's significant. Plus, it requires a ton of energy, a ton of glucose for the brain to make that switch. And it lowers our energy levels and it creates a stress response. And it dulls out our ability to intellectually make decisions. So multitasking, girls, it's not cool. Now, that's not to say like we don't do it. Of course we do it, and we have to in many cases, and it's unrealistic to think that we can cut it out altogether. But here's the thing that has to do with sleep. The other problem about multitasking is that it leaves loose ends. It creates a lot of open loops in the brain, and the brain cannot stand loose ends. Again, our brain is designed to make life easy. And so when we have an open loop in the brain, our brain is going to seek out answers desperately until it can close the loop. So when we multitask, we leave one project open and move to the next project. And we may leave that project open to move back to the original, then to a new one, then to a new one. That's what multitasking is. It's really not getting a whole lot done, but dabbling in a lot of different little tasks. And if we do that chronically, our brain is on hyperdrive, oh my God, loose end mode. And that's what will keep you awake at night. So if you wake up, immediately your brain is in search mode. Tie up loose ends, tie up loose ends, tie up loose ends. So my tip is to become aware of those multitasking habits that you have. Cut out where you can when you're doing them. So I set reminders on my phone, like I set blocks, and I know that, for certain blocks of time, this is my sole focus, and I turn off my phone, I turn off my email, I do early morning work. I find that I have less distractions then. I try to keep my brain free of clutter by making my brain dump list. And I also set timers for myself because I know I work better under a deadline. So if I set a timer like, okay, I need to follow up with these 5 people in the next 20 minutes, go. I'm going to be hyper focused on getting that done and work like my hair is on fire. If I am emptying the dishwasher, it's kind of a mindless task. So that's when I might leave the door open for some multitasking. But try to close the loops before you go to bed. So here's my next tip. Make your one thing the one thing. So in your day, if you set out with the intention of achieving one massive task per day, instead of having an ongoing list of stuff that you dabble in all day, just say, before I go to bed tonight, I will accomplish this. and then make it your hell-bent mission to accomplish that task, you will stay asleep longer over time because there's less of that open loop mentality running in your brain. So try to minimize the multitasking. Set an intention to get one major task done per day, and that will ultimately help you stay asleep. And that's key, right? To a good night's sleep. It's not just about falling asleep, it's about staying asleep. Peace out, much love. So comment below, and today I want you to write down one task that you are committed to getting accomplished today. One thing. What are you going to achieve today? Write it down. We can hold you accountable. Much love. Boom.